Welcome everyone to the Blounts Creek bunker. Today we're down in the garage. It's going to be a little chilly tonight. It's the night before Thanksgiving, but we've got off work for Thanksgiving, and we're going to try and put some of this time to use and try and get the heart of the swamp donkey together. So we're down here currently in the little shop. We're just gathering up some tools here, and we'll go back out here. We've got the swamp donkey patiently sitting there waiting for us to get its new power plant put together, which is what we'll be working on tonight. So in here we have in the engine assembly room, we have the nice 6.0 Chevy. It's sitting on the cart that I built that has pneumatic tires, so it's able to be rolled around easily, single-handedly. I have deleted the air condition as talked about in the previous video, and you saw it. It was test run to make sure there was no mechanical issues. So now we're going to tear all the accessories off of it and go kind of inventory those back in the other room, since it's a little cramped in here. And hopefully tonight we'll get it tore down to a long block, and we'll see what we've got and see what we need to order to make this thing go fast. So tools, we're going to be using a basic Craftsman tool set, essentially just a 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch drive socket set with some wrenches. I've got an engraver here from Harbor Freight to kind of engrave some of the parts so we keep everything in the exact location. A small impact driver. Got some plastic totes to put the parts in to keep them clean, because this is a junkyard build. We will be reusing essentially everything. Got some spray lubricant in case some fasteners give us some trouble. A little brake clean to keep things clean. A rubber mallet if anything needs any persuasion. A light for a little bit of added visibility. And that's about it to start with. If we run into any problems, need any other tools, I'll go over those at that time. I'm going to set you down here while I do a little work. We needed a set of wire cutters to cut a couple of tie wraps. With that, we've got the bird's nest of a wire harness off. And one manifold bolt on this side, as when I first got the motor. That one was broke off in the head. I had to weld it and weld a nut on it and get that backed out. we're trying to save as much parts or as many parts as we can. Pretty much we're going to reuse everything, including these multiple layer steel exhaust gaskets, which look like they're beyond their really intended life. They've separated, but we're just going to keep all them in order. See, shouldn't really be like this, but I think as long as I take care to keep them together and possibly put a little red RTV on them, high heat silicone, I think we'll get everything to seal up. But we'll get that address that once we get it back in a running condition. So now if you have a shop vac, it would be a good time to just get it and clean up around the lifter valley area where the intake sits down, all around the intake ports and all. I mean, we are going to disassemble this and clean everything, but just to keep everything as clean as possible. So when we get a shop vac, I'll be right back. We'll see if we can reuse those gaskets. Those look a little questionable. They look kind of flattened out. We'll see once when we go put it back together, get everything cleaned up, see if we think it can be used. Now you can start to get a look at the motor. Hang on 1 second here. You can see it's a little greasy, but everything looks to be kind of as expected. Let's go ahead and get the front accessories off now. That bolt ain't feeling right, so I'm going to work it in and out a little bit and see if it'll loosen up and get it out of there without breaking anything. So I wasn't sure if we would get this far or not, but we'll go ahead and pull the harmonic balancer off. We're going to try out this tool we got from Amazon. It was about 30 bucks. I wish I had some high pressure grease. I just went and checked the truck. Didn't have any high pressure grease, but any type of grease should really work. In this case, I've got some anti-seize. It's just your basic aluminum anti-seize, nothing too fancy here. It will get all over the place. I'm kind of hesitant to put it on there, but better than dry threads. Maybe you'll get a shot of marine grease out of the grease gun and put on that as well. Just some grease. Wipe off the excess. And then this piece just starts in the back here. So I don't have a big enough socket. We will regroup on pulling the harmonic balancer. Might go ahead and get the cylinder heads off just so I can see what the bores look like tonight, and then that'll be a good spot to wrap up for the night. Let's go ahead and get these engine mounts off. And we can have a look in the engine here, kind of see how clean things is. We've got some oil pooling there just from the way the engine is tilted. I'm going to see if I can dump that out, and then we'll go from there. But everything you can see looks pretty clean. I was told it had around 82,000 miles. It's definitely not gummed up, but it's not new either. Now I'm going to back the tension off of the rocker arms. So what we'll be doing is the rocker arms with spring tension on them, such as this one. I'm just going to slowly back this bolt up, and that'll let the rocker arm come up, spring tension come off. You see there's a couple of them. This got some tension on them, but then I'm going to take all those out and get them in this plastic tote here. I'm going to clean that out good with some brake clean and then line it. And before I take any of them off, I'm going to start numbering them. I'm just going to take the engraver and I will etch the rocker arm on a non-critical part, probably right here on the side of each one of them as they come off. And I'll likely do the same thing for the push rods, just so we keep all the bearing surfaces matched up. Maybe not the most critical thing, but it can't hurt. See, I don't know if you can see this. Let me get the light. But so we're just engraving the back there. There you go. Just you see 2. Obviously, that came off of cylinder number 1, but I'm just going to number them 1 through 16, and know that I start with the number 1 cylinder on the intake valve. And the bolts don't really matter. They just hold everything in place. Alright, I'm back. Just had to take a phone call. Not much has went on. While I was on the phone, I pulled the rockers, the rocker pedestal, and the push rods. Now I'm starting to break the head bolts loose. You can see these are not the same length. That changed on, I believe, around the 2004. All I know is when you order head bolts for a 2002 motor, they're a lot more expensive. But the shorter bolt is in the hole to the front of the head there. The magnet would be nice to pick those up. But those pliers will also work. And you see the last one is also short. When something falls, it always falls in a pan of oil. If you've ever worked in a garage, you know that. You see the whole row of bottom bolts are all long. That should be everything holding the head. Let's get me a handle here. Tap that. And bingo. The head gaskets don't look too bad. Definitely no catastrophic failure or anything. Just be sure to set those where nothing can hit the surface and affect the sealing to the deck. As for the gasket, I'll probably put a new one. I know people do reuse these. May just keep this one if I ever, for some reason, am back in there. I just sucked up the trash. Let's take a look and see what we have here. You can see by the pistons we have dish pistons. A little surface rust here in that cylinder. You can kind of see the crosshatch still in it. There's really no noticeable wear, nothing that will even catch my finger at the top. But you see, notice the dots on all the pistons. That'll come important for reassembly. They all face to the front of the motor. But I'm going to go ahead and take the engraver. Hopefully I've got enough cord. No, I don't. I'll have to do that as they come out. I'll just lightly engrave the top of each piston just so that those go back in the right holes. So now we'll just repeat the same thing for the other side. Alright, I'm back. We just popped the other cylinder head off here. You see the gasket's still on there. But all the cylinders on this side look pretty much the same as the last. One want to just clean up a little bit here and go get in the bed. And what do we have here? We'll have to figure out what that was. There's some piece of junk. Kind of looks like a dead bug. We'll definitely get that out of there. And only other thing I want to do tonight is see what lifters we have in this motor. If it's the first style or if it's the second style, what is known as a LS7 lifter. I think this will be the LS7, but I'll let you know in the next video. I'm going to get this cleaned up and go get in the bed and get ready for work. Actually, tomorrow I got the day off, so but probably go get in the bed and get ready to go fish. But we'll see y'all next time on the Blounts Creek Garage. We'll tear the bottom end down, check some clearances, clean some things up, re-gap some rings, and kind of get a game plan together as to how we're going to put this thing back together to power the Swamp Donkey. Thanks.